The Messerschmitt Bf 109 holds a record that still stands today. More of these fighters were built than any other in history, with over 33,000 produced in less than 10 years. It was flown by the highest-scoring aces the world has ever seen, some with more than 300 confirmed kills. Fast, heavily armed, and constantly upgraded, it became a symbol of German air power during World War II. But behind its reputation was a hidden flaw so dangerous it killed over 1,700 German pilots, many before ever seeing combat. This is the story of the Bf 109. When it entered service in 1937, nothing else looked like it. At a time when many nations still flew wooden biplanes, the Bf 109 was a leap into the future. Full metal construction, a sealed cockpit, and retractable landing gear. When war began, it instantly became the backbone of Germany's fighter force. Even after newer fighters like the Focke-Wulf 190 arrived, the 109 stayed in production right to the very end of the war. To understand why it became so central, we need to look earlier. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles banned Germany from building combat aircraft. Officially, the country had no air force. In reality, German aviation development continued in secret throughout the 1920s and early 30s, hidden under the label of civil aviation. When the Nazis rose to power, the disguise faded. Their goal was to leap ahead of every other nation. One of the key designers in this push was Willy Messerschmitt. His new fighter, officially designated Bf 109 after the company Bayerische Flugzeugwerk, stunned the world during the 1936 Olympics. Without any announcement, a prototype flew over Berlin and set a new international speed record, 610 km/h. The twist: it wasn't using a German engine, but a British Rolls-Royce Kestrel. Once Daimler-Benz introduced its new inverted V12 engines, the Bf 109 found the power plant it was meant for. Its early firepower was simple, 2 MG-17 machine guns above the engine. But once German intelligence learned the British Spitfire carried 8 guns, the Bf 109 was upgraded. 2 MG-17s with 1,000 rounds each, plus 2 20mm MGFF wing cannons, gave it a devastating punch. Later, a third cannon was added to fire through the hollow propeller shaft, giving the pilot a perfectly centered shot, though vibration often caused jams. The Bf 109 got its first real combat test in the Spanish Civil War. There, it outclassed early Soviet designs and gave German pilots valuable combat experience. By 1939, at the invasion of Poland, it was already the Luftwaffe's main frontline fighter. It helped dominate the skies over Western Europe and clashed with British Hurricanes and early Spitfires at Dunkirk. Then came the Battle of Britain. In 1940, the Bf 109 was assigned to protect German bombers. But there was a major problem: it was a short-range fighter. With only about 15 minutes of combat time over Britain, bombers flew slowly, forcing German fighters to turn back early, leaving them exposed. Many Bf 109s didn't fall to enemy fire, they simply ran out of fuel. In combat, the Bf 109 and the Spitfire were well matched. The Spitfire could outearn the 109, but the German fighter climbed and dived faster. Its biggest advantage was its fuel-injected engine. Spitfires had carburetors, meaning negative G dives often caused their engines to stall. Bf 109 pilots could simply push the nose down and escape. A mechanic fix later solved this for the British, but early in the battle, it mattered. By the end of the Battle of Britain, the Luftwaffe had lost over 600 Bf 109s and failed to gain air superiority. Now came the hidden killer. The Bf-109's narrow landing gear, mounted to the fuselage rather than the wings, made it extremely unstable on the ground. Small mistakes or uneven surfaces caused violent crashes. In training alone, about 1,750 Luftwaffe pilots died in non-combat accidents. 10% of all Bf-109s were lost this way. The problem never went away. As the war expanded to North Africa, tropical versions were created with sand filters and drop tanks. Then, during Operation Barbarossa in 1941, the new F variant arrived. It removed the wing cannons and concentrated all weapons in the nose, improving balance and accuracy. This was the version flown by Germany's top aces, including Erich Hartmann, the highest-scoring pilot in history with 352 kills, and Gerhard Barkhorn with 301. The most produced version, however, was the Gustav or G model. It came with a stronger Daimler-Benz engine, heavier 13mm machine guns, armored glass, and in some models, a pressurized cockpit. Its most powerful upgrade was the new 30mm cannon firing through the propeller shaft, capable of destroying heavy Allied bombers with a single hit. Late war variants pushed for higher altitude performance, but by then Germany was collapsing. Factories were bombed, fuel was scarce, and new pilots received almost no training. The Bf-109 continued fighting in desperate battles over German cities until the final days of the war. And the story didn't end in 1945. The aircraft was produced after the war in countries like Czechoslovakia and Spain, continuing the legacy of the Bf-109 long after Germany surrendered.